Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single game. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on a Friday show. The Brewers coming off a series victory over the San Diego Padres with their win on Thursday afternoon. Talk a little bit about the success of Andrew Vaughn and Kyle Harrison as well, and we'll look ahead to this weekend's series against the Minnesota Twins as that's getting going here tonight. But a great series victory. It could have been a sweep. It should have been a sweep, arguably. But alas, Brewers not quite able to get that game on Wednesday. But they came out with a vengeance, really, on Thursday afternoon. Poor Griffin Canning going through it those first couple of innings. He struggled with walks, struggled with command problems. The Brewers took advantage. They put up 3 runs in the first, then 3 runs in the second. They chased Griffin Canning from the game. And then from there, the offense didn't really do a whole ton after that, but the Brewers got their damage in. They took control of that game, and they were able to be largely on cruise control from there on out. It's amazing what happens when you score more than 1 run. You're able to do that. You're able to be on that sort of cruise control. So the Brewers put themselves in that great spot and get the series win over the Padres. So that was great to see. You get to see some success up and down the lineup. And hey, what did we talk about on yesterday's show? Talked about how Luis Rengifo quietly heating up, and hitting well in the month of May. And what do you know? Luis Rengifo once again a multi-hit game, 2 for 4 in the game on Thursday, 3 RBIs. His batting average now up to 220 on the season. Entering the month, it was 188. So for Rengifo, he's got that batting average up nearly 30 points in the span of 2 weeks here. So that's a big positive step. I know Rengifo's part of that left side of the infield that's been catching a lot of flack, but Rengifo is getting going here. David Hamilton, 1 for 3 in the game, hitting 232. Again, that OPS still, 580, still under 600. Same thing with Rengifo. 578 OPS, still under 600. You'd like to see more. You'd like to see better, but at least especially for Rengifo, this is a very positive step in the right direction. And if he continues this up, even just for another couple of days, we're going to see that OPS jump quite a bit more into the more tolerable, acceptable range, I guess, for that spot that he's in. So Rengifo starting to heat up. Christian Yelich not in the lineup again for the Brewers as that back soreness is continuing to be there, according to Pat Murphy. It did get a little bit better on Thursday, but they're still trying to be cautious with it, and they remain confident that they're ahead of it. But according to Murph, we'll end up learning more today here on Friday as they get started with this series against the Twins. So hopefully it won't be something too long-term with Christian Yelich, but he was still out for the game on Thursday. But that just means that you do get a little bit more Andrew Vaughn in that lineup as well. And Andrew Vaughn putting up some really good numbers, as we've known. And since coming back off the IL, dealing with that hamate fracture that he had. Vaughn 2 for 3 in this game on Thursday here. And he ends up with a pair of RBIs as well. So you love to see that for Andrew Vaughn. He gets a double in there. Vaughn is hitting 292 on the season since returning from the IL, a 933 OPS for Andrew Vaughn. And I stumbled across this stat here that I found very, very interesting. Since being traded to, this is from Rob Silver, at Rob Silver on X. Since being traded to Milwaukee last July, Andrew Vaughn is tied with Bryce Harper for the 4th best WRC plus, weighted runs created plus, among first basemen, behind only Nick Kurtz, Ben Rice, and Matt Olson. So the top first baseman by weighted runs created plus since last July, since the Brewers got Andrew Vaughn and called him up to the big league roster, it's Matt Olson, Ben Rice, Nick Kurtz, and Bryce Harper and Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn is tied with Harper for this. And we talk about Harper as, I mean, he is a future Hall of Famer. I mean, there is very little doubt about that. Just the career that he has put up, the numbers that he has put up. You think of Bryce Harper and you think of an incredibly productive hitter. And Andrew Vaughn's right there with him. I mean, obviously he went on the insane, incredible run last year when the Brewers called him up, where he was looking like the best hitter in baseball for a while there. And still, since coming back off the IL, you would think with a hamate fracture, having surgery, trying to get that fixed, that it would take a little while for him to get that strength back, get back into the swing of things. But he's been hitting the ball well. He's been getting on base. I mean, the 292 average, the 933 OPS. I mean, you just absolutely love to see. Now, again, it's only been like a week and a half or so that he's been back, but still, that's a pretty good stretch there for immediately returning from the IL. His numbers are actually better than Jackson Churrio's at the moment. I mean, the way things have gone. Churrio 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts on the day. So, you have those days where everything goes right offensively. You put up 7 runs, you have 10 hits. You think, oh yeah, everyone's eating on offense. Everyone's having their day. There's always one that just cannot get anything going. That was Jackson Churrio, 0 for 5, 4 Ks. You hate to see it, but someone's got to go through it. Someone's got to go through that. I mean, even William Contreras, the only other guy in the lineup without a hit, or the only other regular in the lineup without a hit, he was able to reach base twice on walks. So he had that going for him, but Churrio struggled there. But still, the main point here is Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn has been really good. And I think the major question for a lot of us was, can Andrew Vaughn repeat what he did last year? Because obviously he went on an insane great run, which was awesome, but we've kind of never seen that run before out of him. Would he be able to maintain that? Would he take a step back? Would he regress to the mean a little bit more? So far, Andrew Vaughn has been doing a really good job of avoiding any regression there. So that is a big positive step for him, and to put himself in that same conversation as Bryce Harper in production over the past year. That is saying quite a bit, absolutely. So that's why you love to see those Andrew Vaughn home runs, and they lead to or any sort of hits at all, and they lead to some Brewers wins, which you can also cash in on, because on Kalshi you can trade every single game, and the Milwaukee Brewers, if you like the win totals or the run totals there, you can look at it. You can, if you want to see runs in the first inning, you can look at that too on Kalshi. And you can trade on that. And the Brewers had some runs in the first inning here in this game on Thursday. Could they do it again on Friday here? We shall see. But overall, the Brewers taking on the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota has not been great. They got off to a really good start, but they have struggled as of late. Milwaukee currently at a 52% chance to win on Kalshi, meaning a $100 trade pays out $173 with a win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL and get $10 when you trade 10 KALSHI Kalshi trade on anything. All right. We could also potentially trade on. The Brewers made some trades, and they got themselves Kyle Harrison back before the season began. And Kyle Harrison, my goodness, was he phenomenal once again in this game on Thursday here. Goes 5 innings and scatters 5 hits, no runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. So, he may not have been as flashy as Jacob Misiorowski was, but still got staked to a comfortable lead. Goes 5 innings in this one. Throws 99 pitches, so it took him a little bit to get through those 5 innings. Not the most efficient performance for him, but he avoided the walks. Just gave up the 5 hits there. Was able to strike out 7. Had a few more lengthy at bats on his hand, but still, to get through 5 when you're staked to a 6-run lead, you can hand it off to your bullpen, and they can have kind of a free and easy night. DL Hall, Grant Anderson, Brian Fitzpatrick takes his final 2 innings. To have that, I mean, that was beautiful to see. Kyle Harrison now a 209 ERA on the season. So he is absolutely turning into that monster that we thought that the Brewers pitching lab and pitching coaches could turn him into. As Pat Murphy says, put him through the car wash, the H&H car wash. Chris Hook, Jim Henderson, those guys have been phenomenal working with him. He's got the kick change that's working now, which he did learn with Boston, but still, they're unleashing it here in Milwaukee, and the Brewers are just absolutely reaping the benefits of this trade that they made with the Boston Red Sox. And Boston's got to be kicking themselves wondering, how in the world did we let this guy go? But sure, fire the manager. That was the problem. Totally not the GM that had any issue with that over there in Boston. But I digress. I saw this stat here from Just Baseball. There are only 3 starting pitchers in Major League Baseball this year with an ERA under 2.20 and a strikeout rate of at least 30% this season, over a minimum of 30 innings. There is only 3 across the league. Jacob Mizorowski is one. Paul Skeens is another. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Kyle Harrison is the third. The Brewers have 2 of the 3 pitchers in all of baseball with an ERA under 2.20 and a strikeout rate of 30%. 2 of the 3. Absolutely mind-boggling. And the Brewers get this guy for, as much as I loved him, Caleb Durbin and Andrew Monasterio and Anthony Siegler. That's what they gave up to get Kyle Harrison. Now, I know a lot may be looking at the production at third base and think, oh, Caleb Durbin would be nice to have right now. You look at Caleb Durbin's numbers, it's like, yeah, it's probably about the same what it's been. I mean, maybe Durbin would have been better, if he were here versus Boston, but still, Boston seemed like a pretty good spot for him with his pole side hitting and the Green Monster over there. But still, the Brewers are absolutely getting the better end of this deal right now. That there is no doubt about that. What Kyle Harrison is doing, and also Shane Drowan helping out in that bullpen as well. David Hamilton has been playing quite a bit. The Brewers are for sure getting the better end of this deal, but Kyle Harrison is definitely the best player that the Brewers acquired in this deal, and I think he's going to be the most impactful going forward from this group. I mean, being that left-handed starter, having the stuff that he has, the fastball that he has, and already seeing these kinds of results, because you look back over his career, the past couple of years, his stints in San Francisco and in Boston, he's been like a mid-4s ERA kind of guy. And now he's got an ERA of 2.09. Now, granted, it's mid-May, so there's still plenty of time. But Kyle Harrison has been unleashed as just an absolute beast that we all thought he could be. I mean, he was a top prospect. He does have that pedigree. So there was always kind of like, okay, he does have it in him to be that guy at perhaps the top of a rotation, although it's going to be behind Jacob Mizorowski in this rotation. But still, he has the pedigree to be that guy, and the Brewers very quickly are turning him into that guy. So that is just an absolutely beautiful sight to see. I mean, we're seeing this development before our very eyes. I mean, each and every time he goes out there, you feel more and more confident that when Kyle Harrison's on the mound, that's going to give you a very strong chance to win that ball game. Same way that you have with Miz, same way that you have with Brandon Woodruff when he's out there. You feel very strongly, okay, they're going to win this game because they have this guy on the mound. It has been an electric factory watching him continue to develop here. So he ends up getting the win against the Padres here and sends the Brewers on a winning note into their series against the Minnesota Twins. So they are going to have a 3-game set against Minnesota, and that's going to be really, really fun series. I mean, Minnesota, again, they started off pretty hot actually in that AL Central. They have since cooled down. The Brewers are TBD at the moment for the game on Friday here. Logan Henderson is going on Saturday. We know that much. But then they are TBD again for Sunday. So they're still trying to figure out what exactly to do in that rotation. Chad Patrick is in the conversation. They do not know if that's going to be as a starter, if that's going to be as a bulk reliever. They don't know necessarily how they're going to make that work. Could it be Shane Drowan that steps in to get a start, getting open there. Would he be going 3 innings? Could he be going 4? Would it just be 1? Who knows? They're still kind of in the process of figuring that out, but it will be TBD at the moment here. We're going to find out as the day goes along who ends up getting the starting nod here. But this game against the Twins on Friday night will be at 6 o'clock. I know originally it was scheduled for 7, but because the Minnesota Timberwolves of the NBA have their playoff game also in that same area downtown of Minneapolis, that they moved that game up, just kind of help with traffic flow to get everyone into Target Field first, and then they can get into the NBA game later on afterwards. But it'll be TBD versus Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, a 3.43 ERA on the season. He's been one of their better pitchers. And Saturday, Logan Henderson obviously getting the start. Facing off against the left-hander Connor Prelip, the pride of Tomah, Wisconsin. That's right, Tomah, Wisconsin native Connor Prelip went to college at Alabama and got drafted out of there. Had Tommy John surgery when he was in school. But Connor Prelip making, his major league mark, coming up through the Twins organization. 3.32 ERA on the season. So he's going to be the Brewers' opponent on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it'll be Bailey Ober for the Twins. He's got a 3.46 ERA on the season. So overall, some pretty solid ERAs for this Twin starting staff. Kind of in the mid-3s area. And the Brewers a couple of TBDs for this one. But Minnesota, they traded off a lot of their talent last deadline. I mean, they had a complete and total fire sale, moving basically everyone out of there. But they still have Byron Buxton. They still have Royce Lewis. I was going to say they still have Byron Buxton. I mean, that's largely it. I mean, Royce Lewis is batting at the bottom of the lineup. You got Trevor Larnach in there, Ryan Jeffers. They got Josh Bell. I mean, Josh Bell's always caused the Brewers some headaches over the years. But they got a lot of young kids in there as well. Brooks Lee, Luke Keyshaw, old friend Victor Caratini is over there with the Minnesota Twins. So they've got some interesting talent, and old friend Justin Topa time over there, and he's in the back end of that bullpen for Minnesota. And I memean, he's 35 now. I mean, he's got 5 years of service. Justin Topa kind of making his mark and finding a home there in a little bit of a closer's role for the Minnesota Twins. So good for him. But they've got some injuries to that group. Pablo Lopez, Micah Bell on the IL. So some issues there with their pitching staff. But Minnesota Twins currently sitting in at 20-24. 4 games under 500 in the AL Central, which is good enough for a third place, actually. That division's a mess, but it certainly has been for quite some time. But the Brewers will take them on. They've done well in interleague action so far this season, and they really kind of have for quite a long time. But they'll have the 3 games this weekend, and then they will go down to Chicago, to the north side, to take on the Cubs for the first time this year. That's going to be a very interesting series. We'll talk about that and the results of this Twin series on Monday's show. Appreciate all of you watching. Be sure to subscribe and get notified when new episodes drop if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter as well, at dgasper24. Appreciate all of you watching and listening, and see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.